remainder of my time to Chairman Jordan.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. In his deposition, Hunter Biden's business partner was asked this fundamental question. The request was help. This is the request from Burisma. The request was help from the United States government to deal with the pressure they were under from their prosecutor. Mr. Archer's response, correct. Later question, a few minutes later, what did Hunter Biden do after he was given this request? Mr. Archer's response, he called his dad, someone pretty important in the United States government, which then begs the obvious question. What did his dad do? He gets a request from Burisma. He called his dad. What does his dad do? 5 days later, he gets on a plane, he flies to Ukraine, and he starts the process of firing that prosecutor. That is why Mr. Turley said earlier that this is a confirmed, corrupt, influence-peddling effort. He thinks that's what Joe Biden engaged in. And oh, by the way, that all happened even though the Obama administration had just written the prosecutor general a few months earlier and said, we're impressed with the ambitious reform and anti-corruption agenda of your government. Wrote the very guy Joe Biden decides to do it. And you know what he did? He decided on the plane. He decided on the plane. Read the Washington Post, September 15th. On the plane, Joe Biden called an audible, quoted. He called it, it was time for a bigger punch. The loan guarantee was the main point of leverage, Professor Gerhardt. He used the money of the people I represent in the 4th District of Ohio to help his family. And anyone with a brain can see that. That was the point of leverage, the vice president declared. So instead, he would tell Poroshenko the loan would not be forthcoming until Shokin was gone. And guess what? They didn't stop there. They made sure the next prosecutor dropped the charges against the very guy who requested this all to happen in the first place, Zolochevsky, the head of Burisma. That is the case. That is the case. That's why the chairman wants the bank records. That's why we're doing the impeachment inquiry. It can't get plainer and simpler than that. And it all happened. It all happened in that 5 days. He gets the request. He calls his dad. His dad calls the audible, uses our money to leverage the change. That's what took place. And again, I think anyone with common sense can see it. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back as a housekeeping measure from last week's markup on HRs 4428, 4984, 5040, 5527, 5528, and the en bloc postal package pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2, I ask the committee members have the right to file with the clerk of committee supplemental, additional, minority, and dissenting views without objection. Additionally, the staff is authorized to make necessary technical and conforming changes to the bills subject to the approval of the minority without objection, so ordered. In closing, again, I want to thank our panelists once again for their important and insightful testimony today. With that and without objection, all members will have 5 legislative days within which to submit materials and to submit additional written questions for the witnesses, which will be forwarded to the witnesses for their response. If there is no further business, without objection, the committee stands adjourned.